Hello. Hey, can you hear us, Ricardo? It has to be at the Cambridge. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Hey, I see some. Okay. You can hear us. That's good. Thank you. Just for making sure that you can hear. All right. So we're going to start it soon. I'm going to turn. Oh yeah, I'll be sharing my screen. Okay. Okay. All right. Cool. That sounds good, Ricardo. All right. Okay. So let me. So we have 5 people here so far. I think a couple are going to join. We'll see. Any case, in the meanwhile, we are going to talk about Bun and maybe some AI stuff a little bit later when David Fecky gets here. Until then, we're talking about SvelteKit. So yeah, let me see what's going on with this source code. I want to make sure. So I have put together a demo site, and that is demo.office.spinspire.com. That's where the site is running. So you could, this is my local host, but this is the public site, demo.office.spinspire.com. Let me put that in, I guess I can put it in the meetup.com, and here, where is it? I can put it in JaxNode also, by the way. Okay, JaxNode, where is JaxNode? Right there. Okay. SvelteKit demo site, live site. This is the live site, and the source code is here. Well, the source code is actually linked over there. This is the source code, so I'm going to put that also. Okay. Okay. So we're going to talk about SvelteKit, what I mean, and on all the good things it can do for us. Oh, looks like I have to log in. I'm not logged in. Let me log in. Google. Hey, how are you? Gupta, I forgot the first name. Aditya. Yeah. Hey, pull a chair. It'll be easier. There are chairs over there if you want any of them. So, how are you, Aditya? I'm going to post this. Yeah. Jax Node or Node.js. Is it Node.js or JaxNode? Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I'm going to click on it, and I'll basically post the same comment that I posted here. So that anybody can see it. Hopefully it maintains. Yeah, it does maintain the links. So that's good. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the camera because I don't think we need that. All right. And I'm going to share the screen now. Sorry, I was not sharing the screen. Oh, host has disabled participant screen sharing. Sorry. I am sorry, Ricardo. I'm trying to share my screen and I cannot share it. Huh? David is posting this? Yeah, David Saki, but he's right now in Transit. So sorry about that. I cannot share. I'll at least keep the video on. Sorry. You can see my pretty face, but none of the code. Sorry about that. I cannot share the screen. Bad. What? No, I don't have it. I have Google Meet. I have a Google Meet. I can, yeah, I mean, it's fine. All right. So what? Oh, yeah, that's not such a bad idea actually. But then I won't be able to see anything. So that's a problem. Anyway, I won't be able to see my own screen here. Okay. So I guess everybody here, other than Aditya and Ryan, may be familiar. I mean, everybody here who works at Spinspire, we are very big into Svelte and SvelteKit. So for the rest of you, I guess I will talk about do you guys, you know what Svelte is, right? Do you know what Svelte is? Okay, I'll start from Svelte then. Svelte is basically a competitor to React. Let's just start there. Except that unlike React, which is all 100% at runtime, well, I shouldn't say that. Even in React, you compile from TypeScript to hey, how are you? Good, same. Yeah. So pull a chair from there, or from here, I don't know, from wherever. Anything with wheels on it. Yeah, you can pull. Yeah, that one is good. Okay. So we were just getting started. Nah, that one is low. You like that one. It's a little higher. You're a taller man. So, all right. So I was just getting started. For those, so SvelteKit is on top of Svelte. So in case those who don't know what Svelte is, it's alternative to React, Angular, Vue. It plays in the same space. Far better, in my opinion, but that's my opinion, right? And the one thing that where it is really different is that it is fully like it's compile time framework. So it's more of a compiler or a language rather than a framework, although there is some runtime also. But they try to minimize the runtime by maximizing the compile time. So, I mean, by doing more at compile time, as much as they can do, they try to do at compile time. So an example, since we are just giving a basic intro also, so maybe it is worthwhile. If you go to svelte.dev, this is the site. And if you go to you can go through the tutorial, which I highly recommend. I cannot say enough good things about this tutorial. This is the best way to learn Svelte. You don't, the AC was not running. That's why we kept it on. But yeah, you can bring that in. Oh, the outside noise. Yeah. So this is really the best way to learn Svelte, in my opinion, because it just takes you over everything you need to know. But the interesting thing that I want to immediately show is the reactivity. This is what differentiates Svelte from others, which is if you assign a variable, zoom in, yeah, sorry. If you assign, as soon as you assign a variable, the reactive effect of that, the reaction to it shows up. So if I were to add a button, sorry, the rest of you are getting bored, but I gotta do. So and then the reaction. So here's the handler. On click, let's have a callback which says name is equal to Aditya, right? So at this point you see hello world, right? And on click of this button, it will reassign this variable to Aditya, right? But will that change this or not? In React, it won't. You know that very well. In React, it won't. You have to say use state and blah, blah, set, and you have to call a setter and whatnot. But in Svelte, it will. No, not just that. Of course, in React also, you could do the same thing, but it won't work. Why? Because the React is not a compiler. It is an interpreter. So Svelte being a compiler actually understands the semantic meaning of assignment. And this assignment gets wrapped into a little bit of JavaScript instrumentation, which says that this variable called name has changed. And oh, by the way, you're using it over here. Therefore, this needs to be updated. And there is no virtual DOM, by the way. I mean, are you familiar with Svelte? How it? Okay, yeah. So there's so in terms of that, I think one fundamental difference is that it's a compiler, not just a runtime. Runtime is there, but it's minimal. Second is it's reactive. It's truly reactive. React, the framework has React in its name. Its name itself is React, but it's not reactive. You know, it's a fact. You have to use all kinds of. You cannot just reassign a variable and see the effect, which you are seeing right here. So this is. I mean, there's a lot more to Svelte, and there are. I mean, I cannot say enough about stores in Svelte. So in React, yeah, you know, anybody who has done any complex application has probably used Redux and gone crazy over the Redux and reducer, and then this dispatch this, and then go through this map state to props and map dispatch to props, and then oh man, like you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, you get that for free here. So I mean, yeah, I mean, I understand. I mean, but that's okay. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on Svelte itself because that's a different topic. Today we want to talk about SvelteKit, which is basically the server side companion to Svelte. So just like Next.js is to React. Are you familiar with Next.js, right? And same thing, SvelteKit is to Svelte. Okay, except that it's again they go further, they do better. Then Vue, so there is Vuex, no, not Vuex. What is the Vue version? Next, that's right, Next. Next is to Vue, Next.js is to React.js. Similarly, SvelteKit is to Svelte. But I think that because it is from the same team, it is far more better integrated to the point that nowadays, even when I need a simple Svelte project, I do a SvelteKit project, and then I use the static adapter of SvelteKit. It gives me a static output, .html files with .js files and everything, which is exactly what is running here. So just before you came, I was showing all of this thing that I'm showing is on demo.office.spinspire.com. And right at the bottom, there is a link to source code, and that's a GitHub repo, open repo. Okay, so you can see how it works, how we wrote it. Okay, so this demo.office.spinspire.com is not running Node.js. There is no Node.js at all, and yet, of course, you go from one to the other, or you go to map. So this is true Jamstack. Pretty interactive application, I would say. And so what it's showing is these are the cannabis stores in Jacksonville area, and you can go somewhere else if you felt like doing the same thing in, let's say, Denver. Where's Denver? Gosh, how do I find Denver in this? Yes, right there. So if I search here, that's Denver cannabis shop, load more, and as I'm loading more. So all this is obviously it's hitting an API, but the API is not Node.js running as part of SvelteKit. SvelteKit did its job completely 100% at compile time. I simply ran npm run build, and then it produced a build folder, and I put nginx on that build folder, and that's what is running. So this site is being served by nginx, not by Node.js. Yes. Yes. By the way, SvelteKit is very confusing. I have to say that, just being honest. It took me 6 months of deep in the weeds, what we did for AmFam and what we did for Can of Pages. Between those two projects, I figured out exactly how to wrangle it to my. So with SvelteKit, you can do several types of sites. You can run your traditional Node.js backend and JavaScript front end, right? And the backend will be at runtime you need Node.js, but it has a number of adapters. So this is the Node adapter that allows you to do what I just said. But then there is a adapter that's static, which basically says pre-renders the whole site, SSG basically. So here on the front page, if you see, we are talking about some of these things. Say this project was created with npm create svelte at next, but then the leaflet maps and MD specs were mixed in with now. Right? It's a demo of cool things you can do with SvelteKit. It includes CSR as in client-side rendering, which means that when you go from this page to the next page, it will hit the server only to fetch JavaScript, but not to actually fetch HTML. So that's what client-side rendering is. I could show you. So if I go to network, and if I go from here to about, all the requests were made to, these are all the requests that were made, and these are all to OpenStreetMap, not to the server at all. Let me do it again. You go to home, no new requests. You go back to about, no new requested. Whatever requests were for map tiles, and that's it. So I clear that. Again, home, and back to about. It just fetches those map tiles again for some reason. But in any case, it did not even request any new JavaScript because it has already loaded JavaScript. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So this is all CSR, client-side rendering. Okay. Then there is SSR. Now SSR is, you will have to resort to SSR if you were to refresh, right? But hold on, this is static Nginx serving, so there is no server-side rendering. There is no Node.js. So if I wanted to show you SSR, I would have to show it to you on localhost. This one. This will cause SSR. I'll show you. So network. If I reload the page, this document itself was rendered using Node.js. If I do a view source here, view page source, you will see exactly the stuff that you are seeing in the page. Okay. Sorry? CSR only. Although I think React has isomorphic rendering. In Next.js you will. Next.js will give you this experience. The other thing is, when you're clicking around these links, these are instrumented links. They turn your request into Ajax request. But it still works without JavaScript. So if I inspect and I say disable JavaScript, does anybody know how to disable JavaScript in their tools? It all. There's a way to do it. Right? How do I disable JavaScript completely? Gotta be a way. Oh, okay. Yeah. So I disabled JavaScript. Okay. Now I reload. I see the same exact thing, nothing new. And then if I close this and I go to network, let me clear this. I disable JavaScript. Once I disable JavaScript, the map will stop working because map requires JavaScript. But rest of it, you'll see. Oh yeah, this also requires JavaScript. So overlap. Yeah. So if I go to this, it works. The map doesn't work, of course, but and this works, which means Node.js basically renders. Okay. And nothing. On the other hand, if you do enable JavaScript, at all. If I go to about again, there will be a request for map type, but that's it. That will be the only thing. Okay, so we looked at client side rendering, server side rendering, and then there is pre-rendering or static side rendering. That's the third thing, which since I use the static adapter, this demo.office.com is fully pre-rendered. There is no Node.js running in the back. So and yet it works because you know the client side JavaScript is anyway running. But more importantly, if you do a web source, you will see this page return markdown syntax, etc. Let me see. This is an example of a demo. Oh, this is the home page and the hard reload. It's still showing me the source code of home page. Can you forget to give me privileges to share my screen? So I was trying to use it. Sorry. Sorry about that. But in any case, if you can give me screen sharing privileges, that'll be great. So yeah, I'm having a little bit of trouble with static side generation, where it actually includes the HTML of the page that you're looking at. Right now, it is simply has the HTML of index, the main index, the default homepage, and then the rest of it is accomplished using client side rendering, which I'm not quite sure why that is happening, but there is a way to do it. There's a way to fix it. Any case, the other thing, there are many goodies, a lot of extensions that you can add. So one thing is you can make what does SvelteKit add on the server side? It allows you to create. Let me show you. It's better to show than to talk about it. I'm going to basically create a new page so that we can see the benefits. Oh, I'm the host now. Okay, good. That's good. Now can I share my screen? Okay. Hello, Ricardo. We are going to share the screen now. I think he's the only one. Is he still there? Yeah, he is. Hello. There. Okay, I'm going to stop video and share screen.
Appreciate it.
What happened? Desktop 1 or 2? Yeah, 1 is fine. Okay. All right. So yeah. So let's create a route. So this is what a SvelteKit app looks like. So ignore all this stuff. Node much. SRC is where good stuff is, and it uses Vite like everybody else these days. And svelte.config.js. So ignore all this. This is scaffolding. This is config stuff. The useful stuff that you are going to see is app.html, which is the template for all your pages. The only thing that changes is whatever Svelte is going to generate here. So for example, since I want Bootstrap in all of my pages, I just put that in the app.html because I don't want to undo. I want to use it everywhere. Then in the routes folder, you have what you need. I'm going to create. So ignore the .md things. There is a svelte.svelte. So you create the, and I'll talk about md in a second. So markdowns. So let's create a test.svelte. So test.svelte is basically a page, and you can, I guess, say whatever. Hi, SvelteKit. If you save this, and where is my browser? Yeah. So, oops, not this one. This one. Yeah, if I just go to test, hi SvelteKit, right? Now it has the concept of layouts. So even though all I said was hi SvelteKit in that page, I'm still getting the nav bar and header and footer and everything, right? So that is coming from the layout, __layout. So layout basically provides everything, and your stuff gets slotted into where is your, it gets slotted here. Oops, sorry. Right. No. Damn. Your stuff gets slotted over here. So this is the layout, and it'll put the entire everything above and below. Right, all the stuff, and then whatever your page content gets slotted here. So this is the page content, and it gets slotted. Oh gosh, here. Okay. So it's called __ layout, and you can have nest. You can have folders inside folders, and then layouts can be nested inside each other. So let's go back to our test.svelte. You can do anything, any Svelte things that you feel like doing. So if you had, so if you instead say, I want to put a name here, then of course you need to have a variable called name, which you do with this. Svelte uses single file components like this. And then you can just say const name is equal to, let's say, JaxNode. Right? If I save it now, oops, where is my, this keeps, yeah, hi JaxNode. So, it's an instant, refresh and all that good stuff. That's right. Yeah. So this is what we call a page route. So it produces an HTML page, right? As opposed to, we'll see in a second, there are API routes also. Okay, API routes. Okay, so let's say a const name JaxNode, right? Now, if you wanted this to come from, let's say, from parameters. So if I say test, if I rename this to test hyphen name. Okay, so this page has been renamed. So then I should get my name variable from, I don't really even have to say that, I can just say params.name. So these are page params. So looks like I need to import that. It's not automatic apparently. Oh no, sorry. So really, is that true? Params. Oh yeah, yes. So you have to actually do this. You have to say, you have to create another script to have a load function. So let me not go there. I'll do something else for now. So let's just go back to test.svelte. Okay, and there was this. I still do have to have params. So sorry about that. Let's say something called test-name. So if you want that route parameter to be available, it is available only in your load function. So which means you say context equal to module, which means the methods in here, the functions in here are module level as opposed to component level. Methods of component versus functions in the module. So you say export async function. Doesn't have to be async, but you probably want it. And then you return an object that includes props. So we will create a prop. The way you create props is you have another script tag, which is not context module, which means it is at component level. And just say, all right, let's have a prop export let name. So I'm expecting a name. So if I have a default, let's say, default, right? This is a default value. Then what? Yeah, I had renamed it. Sorry. Let me, I have renamed it already. So I'm just going to put something in there. Doesn't matter. What happened here? Function, async function. Oh, I forgot to name it. Name, yeah. It's called no. It has to be called load. So anyway, so if I reload, all right. So high default. Why? Because there is a prop called default, and it has a default value. There is a prop called name, and it has default value. Nothing new. But you want to supply that prop from here. So you say props in the load function and say name equal to JaxNode, let's say, right? If you save this and reload, you got JaxNode hard-coded still coming from the load function, the data loader function. Now, of course, that's not no fun. You want to supply the page parameters. This, whatever is in the names placeholder is what you want to do. So you have something called params. Params or param? Params, right? Plural? I think so. So let's try this param dot name. Let's see if this works. Reload. Yeah. So the page parameter is here, right? I do have to reload certain things because it's doing hot module reload reloading, which means load function does not rerun. Okay. Anyway, yes, load is a special function. Its job is to load data from wherever. So, say again. Yeah, it is most likely from the API. It should be. So let's do some, let's use the Chuck Norris joke API. Okay, so this is my standard go-to move joke API, right? So there is something called icndb.com. This one, yeah. So there's an API, and what you do is you basically hit where is the URL? api.icndb.com. Yeah. So if I go here and I say, I'm going to get rid of that parameter. I was just showing you that page parameters can be obtained. I'm going to rename this back to test.svelte. Okay. So I say const URL is equal to this joke API. Okay. So, and then I say const response equal to await fetch. Now fetch, because this can run on the client or on the server, fetch on the browser is different from fetch on the server, right? Because in order to have that isomorphic behavior, you should not use the global fetch. You should instead rely on SvelteKit to provide you with the correct fetch function. It will give you the browser fetch on the client and Node.js fetch on the server. So that's why you should use that. So that's what I did. Basically, load has a complicated event parameter which has fetch as one of the things in it. So I will say fetch that URL, and then I say if well, I'll assume that it's going to return okay. Okay. So JSON, you say await, get the response dot JSON. This is standard fetch API, right? Nothing special here. So now let's just log this. I just want to see what kind of JSON response I'm getting. So I'm going to, for now, I'm just hard coding that. So now if I look at my my dev server, okay, we'll see, we'll print the, hopefully, yes, because it is, we are going to do a hard reload, which means no not client side stuff, right? Fetch failed. Fetch failed, why? Because type error. Why did fetch fail? I don't know. Anybody knows why fetch is failing? Any ideas? So, hold on. Let me see if there is a load. There's no load. So never mind. Okay. Yeah. Let me see the. Let me show you the error. It says process response. Oh, is it on the JSON? Yes, it's because of JSON. That's where it failed. So yeah. So I think you have to do something to obtain the. Oh yeah, there it is. So it's hard to see. Joke random. Okay, I was hitting the wrong endpoint. Yeah, I was hitting the wrong endpoint. That's the reason. So the URL is not what I thought it was. Yeah, I didn't put anything. So this is what I'm supposed to hit. Okay, that's the URL. Okay, let's see if I can. Okay, so I hit the server. Now I'm going to take a look at what JSON I'm getting back. So it's basically JSON has a value and joke inside, right? So that's what I'm trying to get. So let me just do that. Value joke. Joke is inside the value, right? And I'm going to, yep, so that's what I'm getting. I'll just return the joke as joke. And over here, then I have to change the name of the prop to joke. And at this point, let's not have a, hey, what happened there? So, and I'll put it in some pre-formatted tag, something to distinguish it. Okay, let's see what happens. The joke is undefined. Nice. So, yeah, so why is it undefined? Okay, let's just do a hard reload. Yeah, you were right. So July 4th is Independence Day and the day Chuck Norris was born. Coincidence? I think not. So if I keep reloading it, it will obviously, oh, sorry. If I keep reloading it, it does whatever it does. But if I leave the page and hit back, it's a new joke. This player, Chuck Norris, has breathed on. There is no steroids in baseball, whatever. All right, about, and I hit back again, and it's basically just Chuck Norris doesn't pair program, I guess. So if I wanted to include that in my nav bar, I just put a nav bar and let's just put it here. It reruns the load function. Yes, it reruns the load function. So yeah, so now if I go to this, so there's one joke, I go to map, I come back to test, it's a different, because we said that on load, we want, I mean, it's remounting the component, remounting the page, and therefore rerunning the load function. And if you, so now you might say that, what if I wanted to keep old state? So that's what we are doing here in map. So this map is leaflet. So all the source code is available. You guys can see it. But so here's the, if I'm here, if I leave the page, it's a different instance of the map. The map is a component and map is a page, both, two different things. So I'm reusing the component. I'm not reusing the page. The page uses the component and this page also uses the same component. Okay, so in this, I have only one marker, Inspire, and at my current location, etc. Now, if I go to map, it is loading the cannabis locations. I mean, we have cannabis on our minds, not because we are smoking it, but we are implementing a cannabis search engine for a client. So these are various. So we have Will here has built a mind-boggling scraping engine and just a whole bunch of like millions of trees and all that. So this is, by the way, this is in the backend running Meili search. That's another. We should do a whole Meili search. This is Meili, MEILI. So it's like a comparator to Solr and Elasticsearch, but it's so much easier and much faster. It's written in Rust, by the way. So anyway, so I'm just going to close this. Why is this not closing now again? Okay, whatever. All right, so this is hitting Meili search. If I, and it's using leaflet and it's geocoded, the results are geocoded. Now I'm going to hit load more. So now I have two pages worth. First was 40 results, the second was 40 more, so 80 results. and I can load a little more, so 120 results. And I'm just going to scroll down to South Florida a little bit. If I now leave the page to over here, it loads a new joke, sure. But when I come back to the map, I'm exactly where I was with 120 results. And it did not reload anything. So this is the beauty of Svelte stores. I'm using stores. Stores are basically, obviously, if I refresh this page, if I reload, I'll lose the state. Okay, because the state is stored in JavaScript. Okay, so and of course, as you are going from page to page, this being a single page application, it's not losing the JavaScript state, and therefore it keeps 120 results that I had loaded. If I load more, then it's even more. If I move this away and then go to home and come back here, I'm exactly where I was. Again, part of the store is retaining the state. Good question. Much easier. It is stupid simple. It is so simple that it's stupid simple. So the way you use the store is, let me show you an example. If I go to test, so imagine that every joke that you fetch, you want to retain it, okay? And you want to, yeah, let's do that, okay? So so we go to stores.ts. This is how simple it is to write a store. It's literally a one-liner. I'm going to create a new store called export const jokes. Okay, that's the name of the store. It's a writable store, and it is an empty array of jokes, right? It starts out with an empty array. I'm just going to make it an array of strings. So by the way, you can use TypeScript, and you should probably. So here's it's an array of strings. Now, if I go to test.svelte, as soon as I receive fetch a joke, I am going to store it in the jokes array store, right? So I'll just say, let me do it here. Every time I'm going to, yeah. So I will simply say $sign jokes, which of course I have to import. Let me import jokes. There it is. It's importing from that store file. I say $sign. So this is the reactivity in Svelte. When you put a $sign in front of a store variable, it rather than referring to the store, you are referring to the value that is stored inside in a reactive manner. I'll explain what it means. So I basically take the existing jokes, spread them, and append the new joke right at the end of it. Right? So hopefully, if this thing works as advertised, I could see a list of jokes. Let's render them. So I'll say each block. I'll say jokes, $jokes, which is a store. You have to say $sign in front of it as joke. And then I'll just put, let's say ULLI kind of, or OL, why not? If I put this ordered list, and this is an li joke. Okay, let's see if this works. I go to test. This is the first joke because we just started. I go home, come back. Oops, yeah, 2 jokes now. I go to home, come back, 3 jokes. Now tell me if this is simpler than Redux. Right? Because this is a reactive. It's basically the observer pattern. It is just remembering, and it is reactive. So you might say, I don't see any reactivity. You're leaving the page and coming back. That doesn't sound very reactive. So the answer is, let me add a button here, which says fetch another joke. Okay. So button. Yes. So yeah. fetch another joke. So, yeah, you could. That's a, I like that. That's an advanced technique, but no, let's not do that. Let's do it slightly differently. So here, so what we will do is, no, invalidate the page itself. So yeah, what he's saying is, yeah, it's a little advanced technique. It'll be hard to understand, but yeah. So you can say invalidate, which means whatever this page is state, invalidate its state, which means lose the kind of unmount and remount kind of thing. Let's see if it works. I don't know if it will, but let's see. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if it will. Apparently it does. It is loading a new, but it's not adding to this, which means it is, huh? Yes, so it is calling the load function, but wait, sorry? Oh, yes, you're right, you're so right. So I have to make this statement reactive to the value of joke. I do that, let's see if this works. Yes. Oh, good, because you're saying your swell stops. Yes. Yeah. So, no, this is a very counterintuitive way of doing it. So please ignore what crazy techniques that Vikas is coming up with. Okay. That's not how you should be doing. No, you shouldn't. You cannot. No. But what I can do is I can take the essential functionality out of load and I can create a refactor basically. I could say you give me the fetch function and I will use it. I'm pretty much copying this out. So you assign it and then I will simply return the joke. Sorry, my bad. Return joke. Okay, so this is what, and then this guy can simply use it. So cast joke and go away. Or I will give it a different name. So fetch joke. That's the name of the function. Well, I don't have to export it because it's going to be used locally. Away to fetch joke. I see the fetch. Also, I don't have to destructure it. So, fetch. Right now, it will always have two functions, fetch joke and load. Load is just a standard job that it was anyway doing. Let's get rid of that now and then just invalidate the thing. Sorry? In a second, I'll do that. I just want to make sure only the load for the video. So yeah. So this is fetching, it's not even fetching. It's not doing anything. But it is working. The other part is not, how it used to work, right? So now we just go back here and we say we need to provide fetch. So here's an interesting problem. Is when the client side code needs to use fetch, how will it, this has a fetch. So you could just use a pass in the fetch. So that means you get rid of this invalidate, we're not using it anymore. You could just say, you could just call with joke with fetch as a parameter, which of course browser has fetch in its scope, right? So save it. And say again? No, it doesn't need to be exported, they're both in the same market. So, right? So now, if I say fetch another joke, because this guy is actually expecting it, right? This is expecting it. Good.
So what I can do is, so there is an easier way. I could say optionally send me fetch. Meaning say if you send me a fetch, I'll use it. Otherwise, I'll default to this and right? So this way I could do exactly what you're saying. Get rid of this whole thing. Okay. So hopefully what's going on here? Something is not right. Let's check the errors. There must be some errors. No errors? What's going on? No, prop. It's still, yeah. So we are, okay, you're right. I'm not setting the prop, you're right. So I have to say joke equal to, yeah. I have to say joke equal to. Okay. So every time joke changes, yeah. The only problem with this is that it is going to cause a race condition. When this changes, it changes again. So there needs to be a better way. So if I create a real function called append, right, that takes a value and always appends to. So I want to take, in my reactive definition, I want to take dollar joke out of it. Okay. So the way to do that is, I would say, the thing that you want to be reactive about, you want to keep that in the expression. So you want to be reactive about joke, not dollar joke, right? No. So then you just say, you append joke. So it will react to joke changing, but it will not react to dollar joke changing. Okay. So hopefully. What did I do? Oh wait, yeah. So I have to say async here. Oh wait. So let's see. All right, there you go. So yeah, and the point is that stores are fully reactive. If there was, by the way, if you added some code, and let's say you not only can you are you reacting to things here, you could go to a new page and you could change the value of the store and you'll see the effect everywhere on all pages everywhere. Of course, application wide stores, yeah. Yeah. Correct. Minus all the so the key thing is that it is reactive to changes in that state in the store. So as you're adding, you never are you seeing the code which says when the jump changes, re-render this ULLI or no, we don't have to do it. You don't have to write last station for options. No. And then like use selector hook. Yeah. No, you don't have to use any case, you would agree that this is one option. I mean, it's the way like it would have, but I make this. I don't feel that reactive in this natural state. It works to make it reactive. That's just why. I mean, yeah, if you are cannot make any variable like you have to put it in Yeah, but to change it in the state, you cannot just say state dot name equal to foo. You have to say state dot set. Sorry, with a set state. Yeah. And blah blah blah. Or whatever else. Yes, I have. I regret having worked in Bombay. Yeah. It's easier, yes, but less predictable. If I have to use React, I will use React after having used Molex. Right. Yeah, Molex. The problem, the way Molex works is it generates proxy, like dynamic proxy. That's right. And it allows you to directly assign variables, but it brings so many surprises on you. The abstraction is that's what I've seen. Maybe it was our first Molex project. Maybe that was maybe we didn't understand it as well. I mean, the kind of things that kind of was rattling off, like, you evaluate this and that. That level of expertise we did not achieve with Molex. Maybe that was our problem. But I think we know how to wrangle React and Redux. It's very predictable. It's not boilerplate code, yes, but it's predictable. So, okay, first you click this button, right, which generates the on-site method, which in turn invokes an async method. And what is it doing? It's calling fetchJoke. FetchJoke is a dumb functional thing. It doesn't have any side effects. Like it's returning the joke. So once it returns the joke, then a little bit of magic is happening right here in line 27. So a bit earlier, line used to have dollar jokes in it. And my fear was that you are modifying the dollar jokes while reacting to dollar jokes. Like a circular. So that's why I took that out, put wrapped it inside a function. This dollar sign colon is what is called as a reactive declaration in Struct. And use effect. It's effect akin to use effect. So whatever variables we use in this line, by the way, this can be multi line, you can use it. And this is completely okay. You can yeah, but so you can have many lines like this. So anyway, but since I have most of the times I keep it very simple like this. As you can yeah. So the idea is use like use effect basically. You can have you will have separate use effects. If the reaction is to two variables, make sure only those two variables show up in this statement. If more three variables show up, it's reacting to all three of them. Right? So in my earlier implementation, I was saying dollar jokes equal to spread jokes, right? And then jokes. So while it is my intent was to react to joke variable, but I'm also reacting to dollar jokes. And that is not what I want. So I get rid of it, I just wrap it into this. Right? And this way the reactive declaration is not reactive to dollar jokes, it's only reactive to joke. So your original question was how is that working? This reactive declaration is watching the joke variable. And then all this is compiled time. Unlike Molex, which is runtime proxy. Right? This is compiled time. So the compiler is injecting a little bit of JavaScript code right next to it. It's kind of like saying invalidate. Yeah. Correct. So it's basically it adds extra code saying it observes that joke is changing. No, not joke is changing. If joke changes, then yeah. Right. While over here it says now joke is changing. So when it sees that, it adds some extra code saying do whatever you need to do when the joke changes, which means this one. What is it? and causing this case record. Well, this is watching for changes in dollar joke and asking this to get anyway, these are some, but I want to talk about more. There is I want to use the floor to very quickly. Sorry. Well, pretty late. But a couple of other things that I want to show you is all of this is actually, I mean, it has various plugins, one of which is called MD Markdown Svelte Expressive. What it is this front page, if I go to the front page here, this, you might think it's an HTML file or maybe a Svelte file, right? It's not. It's a Markdown file. And it looks like, yeah, that is not the beauty of Svelte or SvelteKit. It's the beauty of the plugins that people wrote for SvelteKit. And this is called MD. So this, I showed a fixed kind of a markdown file, pure markdown with some print matter, it's controlling your metadata, and maybe even you can throw in some basic JavaScript or sorry, HTML. All this is fine. This is what you would expect from standard markdown. But because it is not just markdown, but in specs, the answer is here. Look at this about. Look, this is Svelte and markdown both at the same time. So you're writing markdown, and I am actually, if you go to the about page here, the about page is a bunch of markdown and a Svelte component block in. And there's some syntax highlighted code, which the source code is that's just the code. I think just to show you what I'm doing is as soon as I save it, what thing to change here, right? I save it. So this is basically syntax highlighting. This is again not a feature of Svelte, it's a feature of any Svelte, right? But this, the fact that I can write a script tag, this thing is the markdown file is a Svelte component. That's the thing to remember. Because it's a Svelte component, we put a script tag. And because it's a Svelte component, you can embed other Svelte components inside it. And all of this can generate static lines and whatnot. And all of this has a server side. Oh, I did not even show you the server side even until now. So in our test document, we have a loader function, but the loader function is operating from the page itself and not from the server side API. Yes, you're right. So, but at this point, we are still this could be running purely on the client side and Windows for the most part. What's on the server side? Nothing. So let's produce the server side thingy. So if I say new file, let's say test2.file, and you say let's say you're saying hello name, and in order to obtain this, you need to have a prop. Anything that you're going to get from the server needs to be exposed as a prop. So let's script export let name is equal to, let's say, stranger. That's being it. No, not yet. No, it's still not on the client. I'll explain in a second. So let's say test2. This is test2. So stranger. Okay, that's fine. Now, I want to fetch it from a server-side API. That's what we are writing. So I create a route. I don't even need a load function. If you're loading a standard, you don't need a load function. What you do is you just create an endpoint with the same exact name, and just call it TS or JS. Okay, so not going to use anything. I'm just doing it. Yeah, you're receiving a request, but you're returning a response. Yes, this is the HTTP request to the endpoint itself. Okay. Now you can basically return something from it. What is that something? It can be acting as the load. So it means props. Name equal to server. So imagine that this came from database. So now you save it and reload. Now those three that did not. What am I doing? Just do that file. Export that name. Then this is props name. Oh yeah, yes. Body. Makes sense. Not body. Props not body. My bad. Yeah, no, props, just body. So think in terms of a standard HTTP RESTful service, which is if I replace this test2 with .json, I think. Maybe not. What is it? Just I have to I can just do a curl request. Curl minus v this place. What is it generated? Move permanently to this. If I say test and 2, yeah, that is going to, yeah, let's do that. But more importantly, you have to say accept application JSON. And there you go. This is an actual RESTful service that it is calling. So if you do that, you get that. But if you do it without that header, you get the page. Oops, what did I do with that? Yeah. So if you so without content negotiation header, then you get here. Then you get HTML response. Otherwise, you get. Okay. All right. So we're going to stop here. But we can keep talking while you're getting set up. Okay. All right. We're switching over from SvelteKit talk to one. I guess machine learning first. Okay. And you need to have that up. So what were you asking? Oh yeah, it's very simple. Actually, you just send it's a right next to body instead. Oh, okay. 302 or 500 or 404 or whatever if you want. So this body gets stringed into JSON automatically. It's just you give it an object. You don't have to say JSON but string it. Yeah. And then the UI will automatically pass. Yeah. You have access to status code over there in the loading. If you really want it, if you care about it, you have to write a loading. In my case, I did not write a loading because I don't care. Okay, so it's like anything that returns the body. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. These become props. They get bound to the props, right? And if you had status, you would have to add status here, right? And then you will receive it not directly as a prop, but in the load function. You will have to write in the load function. You can react to it. Correct. Or by the way, there is something called page. Let me show you. If I say status equal to, I don't know, 500. Okay. If I do that. What? Oh, that takes some time. So I'm getting 500 page load data, right? Because I'm filling status. But you can also get done page errors, which is different status code and all right. Okay. I need to stop sharing.